How much change it's been a minute since we last kicked. By the way, just got in town, and I won't let you me to supply. Dark in the sky, who am I by? Usually I don't do this often, but this cruelly isn't an option. Usual, man, thunder. What do you say? Baby, I wonder. Baby, I wonder. Put your sweat on me. I got the plug, I made the call. So I lay like fire. Let me lay it back down on you. Don't hesitate, no, don't. Just say you will. Just say you will. Come do it, yeah. I feel like that. Is it because I was moving slow? I don't know. That felt a little bit longer today. What up? What up? What up? My tribe, how are you? How are you guys? What are you guys up to? What are you guys up to? Welcome, welcome, welcome to Earth is School. I am back with another episode of this amazing podcast that I created especially for you. Literally. This is the podcast for you. If you are a human, if you have a brain, if you have a body, if you have family, if you have relationships, if you're breathing, this is the video cast for you. I am your host, De La Soul, and welcome to Earth is School. How is everyone on this lovely day? Let me know that you are locked in with me. Let me see those thumbs up. You can share this video now, and that way people can catch the live. And yes, guys, I'm excited to be here. I'm so excited to welcome you all in on another episode tonight. I will say that I ate something spicy just now. So it almost knocked the wind out of me. That's why I was 3 minutes late. I was choking. You never know what someone is doing. I'm busy choking and you guys are like on the other side waiting on me. Ooh, that was good. Oh my God. Spiciness is not the same. Our little Louisiana hot sauce that we got is nothing, okay? It's a joke. Because the spice over here in Africa is real. I just had a little bit. I mixed this. I went to a friend's house to eat, the kids and I earlier, which I will be uploading that vlog in like 2 days. And we went to eat, and the lady makes this really good spicy paste. Well, she has the powder, and you mix some mustard and vinegar with it, and it makes the paste, and then you put it on your food. So I just decided to do that. And definitely, my sinuses are open, and it just knocked the wind out of me real quick. So if I'm coughing this entire time and clearing my throat, it's because whatever just happened to me, whatever's inside of that spice is still doing its thing. But welcome, you guys. Thank you for coming in. I'm sorry. Oh, I hate this. Okay, so first of all, let's start with our breathing before we get into today's episode. As every single day, the episode is always going to be like helping you to grow, and it's going to be intentional, and you're going to be able to relate to it. If not you, someone that you know. So yeah, I'm excited to. Ooh, you know what I didn't do? Because I was creating all day. I did not transfer over the episode that I want to talk about today. So give me 1 second, guys. Stay right there, okay? And then we're going to do our breathing and get right into it. Hada, hada, hada. Perfect. Okay, that wasn't long, right? Okay, guys. I'm sorry, y'all. Bear with me, please. Okay, every episode can't be perfect. Okay, it wouldn't be real if it wasn't. But I want to make sure that I'm not losing my place. Ooh, I have some really good vlogs coming for you guys though today. I've been creating all day. What I'm wearing right now is I Rock Pretty fashion. So I am the ambassador for this amazing company. And K-Bye and I have been creating all day since like 7 a.m. Then I had 2 sessions with my mommies. So it's been lit today, okay? Let's get into the breathing and then I'm gonna let you guys know what we're gonna discuss. This is clearly on, oh, it's just been 6 minutes. Okay. So breathing, okay? If this is your first time watching this episode or this video cast, then we do this spinal fluid breathing where we push the spinal fluid that is already in our spinal cord. We push it up to our brain for a 3rd time. It naturally happens twice a day. So we do it on purpose, and it feeds your brain nutrients and vitamins, and at the same time you also are opening your core and strengthening your core muscles. Okay, so on 3 we're going to breathe in and I'm going to instruct you to hold it. Okay, 1, 2, 3. No matter where you are, breathe in. Breathing in, push your navel to your back and squeeze your core as you're breathing in. Suck up the breath, suck it up, hold it, and release. Nice. Yes. All right, our second breath, we use a lot more strength, a lot more pull. Let's get it. 1, 2, 3. Breathing in. Squeezing your core, pushing your navel to your back, squeezing and pulling your breath up. Suck it up. Suck it in some more and hold it. Hold it just a little bit longer. And release. Nice. Good deal, guys. That is a powerful exercise that we start every single Earth is School episode with. Okay. If you just tuning in, I took some hot sauce. Okay, so my some African hot sauce. So my throat is doing its thing. Okay. So our episode for today. Hey, what's up, Azzy Ross? Thank you for tuning in. So, chop. I can just feel it, y'all. All right, so seriously. You know how you can feel something is in your throat and you want to get it out? My God. Okay, there it goes. All right, so today's episode is really interesting. I'm going to have to dance around my words because there are words that I could use that YouTube will not like. All right. So I'm going to try my best to focus and to still be myself while watering myself down when it comes to these words. Okay. Switching them up and saying different words. Focus. All right. This episode is going to be about keeping your eyes on the prize, but it's specific about keeping your eyes on the prize and away from what is going on in the world. Okay, so you guys hear me always talk about keep your eyes on the prize, focus, tunnel vision, right? And normally I'm talking about this in the light of distractions that we have with our family, like yesterday's episode on internalizing family issues, or who is that? Oh. I heard one of my kids coming in. I'm like, what? Okay, so normally you guys hear me talk about this in this way where I'm talking about like keeping your eyes on the prize and not getting distracted with like social media and certain addictions and things like that. But tonight we're discussing this on terms of what is happening in the world. There is a real distraction that often takes place with different events that we see on social media, on the news, and I'm going to discuss and break down the psychology of keeping your eyes on the prize and not so focused on what's going on in the world. This is something that is currently going on right now. So I think it's a really good subject. All right. All right. So having tunnel vision of what you want to do and specifically not being distracted from what's going on in the world. How these worldly events mentally and physically affect us. All right. So I'm not going to use any terms, but I think we know there is a huge event right now, a huge tragic event, heartbreaking, and just really fucking insane. Situation that is going on in the world right now. I will not even say where. If you don't get it, it's not for you. But yeah, there's definitely a huge thing going on right now that is circulating through social media that is happening somewhere in the world, and that's just an example of all the other things that happen in the U.S., outside of the U.S., wherever you live at. Some of you guys watching are in the U.K. and other places, and even in France and stuff. There's always some type of, I'm trying to be careful with my words, okay? Like, I can't even really say what I want to say, but there's always people standing up for themselves, okay? And so there is a thing about getting caught up on that and what it can do to you physically and mentally and emotionally. And a lot of this has to do with social media and watching the news and stuff, because that's normally where you're going to see it and where you're going to get it from. But there really is a fact in this. And I mean, you guys can research what internalizing things do to you and how it affects your health and it affects your day-to-day life. Some of you guys are on social media or watching the news and you're seeing what's going on in certain places right now in the world, and you are being depressed. Like, you're literally going through depression because of it. You're drained, you're unmotivated, and you're really going through it. And you might not notice it because you might like tap out of it and go and do something that you got to do. But you got to really pay attention to how you're feeling. One way that you can tell that you are internalizing what's going on in the world is that you are spending a lot more time just like in default, just uselessly scrolling through social media, just scrolling through and scrolling through. You might be having debates online right now, or you might just really be isolating yourself. And it's really amazing. One thing I think is amazing before we get all into this, one thing I think is so amazing about us and how it shows that we are all one, like we are really a collective here. Just like a lot of religious texts talk about us being like a tree that has lots of branches. You know, we're like mycelium, we're all together. And one thing that is really cool about humans is that when something big goes on in the world, we tend to all experience that. I'll give some examples, like when Nipsey died, when Takeoff passed. I'm trying not to use like too political stuff because I don't want to use those terms. But just certain things in the world, we all experienced that. You know, when it came to those 2 years that we just recently had, it was just something that we all ended up going through, no matter what tax bracket you were on or whatever. And so it's a real collective thing where when something is going on in the world, especially when it's tragic and when it's being rotated across the internet, we all are experiencing and feeling that at the same time. Sorry, y'all. If you guys are just tuning in, I talked about how I ate some hot sauce right before I came on, some African hot sauce. So it is like, your girl was dying over here, okay? So when y'all hear me clear my throat 100 times, I'm trying to stay alive, okay? It's real. It ain't no Louisiana hot sauce, okay? Yes. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. All right. So these things affect us mentally and emotionally and we just don't realize it. So you guys, some of you guys have heard me tell this story before, but it's so relevant to this. I'm going to tell it again. Lots of you guys have not. So I talked about how back in like 2012, 2013-ish, 14-ish, when, yeah, okay. I'm sorry, y'all, 'cause I got to be careful with my words. So Mike Brown, Trayvon Martin, those are two people that a lot of us know about their tragic stories and how much it affected us as Americans. And there is a brother named Dr. Kaba Hiawatha Kamene. And I have to share this because it's important. It's so important, and it's what got me here for those 8 years and me focusing. There were so many things that happened within an 8-year span, and I still was able to stay steadfast and make it here to Senegal as if nothing took place, even though it definitely did. But Dr. Kaba is a brother who really, really helped me in doing this. During that time was the time when they were really starting to put our offenses, our murders on the TV, on our phones. And so if you guys remember, because it's still happening now, it's just the norm, but it really wasn't the norm. Like back in like 2011, 2012, I know I'm saying numbers, between 2012 and like 2014 to be exact. These were like the beginning times of us seeing this all the time. Every single time we look online. Now we're almost desensitized to it, right? You go on social media and you're almost used to seeing somebody else in another police brutality situation, right? But back during this time, it was new to our eyes through the phone. A lot of us were delusional and not really even realizing how often it was happening until people started recording it and they started really putting it on social media. And so for me, being the kind of person that I am, it was really starting to drain me and take a toll on me. I was in the middle of just reteaching my children so many things about our history. And I had just found out about the Tulsa Massacre like 2 years prior to that. So that was a huge thing because I grew up in Tulsa for half of my childhood and I knew nothing about that. So it was really taking a toll on me. And so I hit up Dr. Kaba and I asked him, like, all these years, you know, he's an elder, he teaches on melanin, and he does a lot of curriculum in the public and private school system. So you guys have seen him like on the Hidden Colors films and stuff. He also teaches on the Moors and a lot of our history. So I asked him, I'm like, you know, what have you been doing all of these years? You know, you've seen so much. How have you been able to focus? Like, how can you keep your mission going when this is crazy? Like what they're putting up, what they're putting up in front of us is crazy. And the truth is that things happen differently, but it's really the same thing. So I know that back in his time, when he was my age, they had their form of putting this stuff in front of their faces and distracting them with it. So I just asked him, like, you know, how did you do this? You know, people were asking him to go to engagements and speak. Reverend Al Sharpton and other people, Dr. Umar was speaking on these kind of things. And I was just like, how do you do this? And so I'll never forget Dr. Kaba telling me, keep your eyes on the prize. He talked about if you know that you have a mission, you gotta let everybody's mission be their mission. Like you can't let another mission consume yours. You have to keep your eyes on the prize. This is for those of you who are being consumed with what's going on in the world. Some of you are in denial about it, and some of you are not. But if it's something that is, if you're getting into emotional debates about it, if you are finding yourself researching it for really long periods of time, if you're looking at those videos, those tragic scenes, then you just got to be really careful because it's really easy to get distracted. And the truth is that, like, what I'm speaking of is a specific thing happening right now that started a few weeks ago, but last month it was another thing, and 3 months ago it was another thing, and 6 months before that it was another thing. So if you really look at our matrix, if you stand outside of all of this and you look, every few months there's some crazy tragic thing going on, especially if you live in America, and you just have to make sure that you keep your eyes on the prize, right? So I said that the way that I handle things, okay, yeah, exactly. So for me, right? Because everybody is different, but because I am aware that I am on a mission and I don't care if it is what's happening in the States or what's happening somewhere else. If I want to learn about it, I am very careful. I will go into a certain place and research a little bit about it, and then I will go back to my focus. And this is not taking me, this is not like me ignoring it or anything. This is me protecting my peace and keeping my eyes on the prize. So for the thing that I'm talking about that I cannot say the word of, that I'm sure that you guys know, when these videos are coming up and they're showing these children, which is the craziest thing to me, before what happened to the kids like last year, in the States and at the elementary schools and stuff, they were not even showing like children's, human design. Okay, again, I'm being careful with my words. They were not showing children's human design on camera and like allowing us to see these lifeless bodies like this. That wasn't happening like that. What do you think that is doing to your psyche? You got to know, like, if I know about this stuff, right, and I'm just a self-proclaimed neuroscientist, just because of my birth work and my coaching and just my obsession with the brain, I can break down exactly what this is doing. But then there's people that have actually went to school for this and studied this for years. There are actual trained neuroscientists and psychologists, and there's no freaking way that they don't know what impact these images are making on us. You guys might not think of it because you're on the other end and you're just scrolling or you're just watching the news. But I guarantee you, there are some people that are in charge of the media that do know that when you see these images, it is doing something to your brain. It is deeply affecting you in ways that you couldn't even imagine. It's traumatizing, literally. So I scroll right past it. I seen one image like 2 weeks ago that I still can't get out of my head. And that's the thing too. If you are an empath, if you're a very sensitive individual, if you have a sensitive spot for children, or again, I'm speaking about this situation and then also others. I'm speaking in general, right? And I'll get to why I'm speaking in general. But if that's you, you got to be careful because especially if you're a visual person, these things will not leave your mind. Thoughts are very light. Thoughts are very light. Images will go across our mind very lightly, and you won't even know why you're feeling emotional or upset and sad. And it'll be because you have been consuming that thing. So take a break. All right. I take a break from social media very often. If there's something going on, like I'll even see it. Like if I see somebody that's like on trial for some stuff and I'm seeing that we're starting to talk about it, I'll be like, okay, this next week, y'all not going to see me on here because I don't care about that when it comes to risking my peace and the mission that I'm on. And technically everyone is on a mission, especially if you are a person that is like consciously, like you're really like, okay, I got to get to this place by this time. I want to have this level of whatever this thing is. I want to be in this place, moving to this city or this country or whatever, right? So disciplining yourself is not to disciplining yourself to not be distracted isn't ignoring it, right? So I kind of mentioned that already. So because some people will say, okay, well, you're ignoring it. But the thing is, like, it's like the people that are put in place where it's their purpose to speak about these things and to raise awareness, which at one point for a lot of these things, I was that person. But also I know that I had a mission to fulfill. So you either know that you're going to be chilling over here or you ain't gonna be chilling. Because anybody that is, a speaker on these kind of things, you're not chilling. It can cause a lot of anxiety and you really got to do a lot of mental work to be able to maintain your peace and still raise awareness. And I'm not knocking anybody whose purpose is that. But what I'm saying is that that's not everybody's purpose. For you to be online debating with people, posting about this stuff all the time, and you know that you haven't even focused on your business all day, or you haven't even done your morning routine. This is what's happening. This is what's happening on TikTok, everywhere. we're getting into these debates and these emotional discussions. We're either depressed or unmotivated, and it has to do with something that is happening in the world that is supposed to happen. And I hate to say that, but if we look at all the tragedies, let's just talk about America alone, just all the Black neighborhoods that we've had that have had the same situation, like dropping them from the skies. This is something that happens. It's like the Bible says, nothing under the sun is new. So, as tragic as it is, you got to know who you're working up against, though. You got to know who's in charge, who's the puppet master. You got to pay attention to that, because you can still do the work. You can pray. You can see these people, whatever general event and situation. Even in Flint, Michigan, I think they just got clean water, but they didn't have clean water for like 6 to 8 years. So it's like these events happen. A lot of them happen purposely. A lot of them we're funding with our tax dollars. And it's a big setup when it comes to how they put it in our face. And you got to be careful, because if you got somewhere to be, baby, you're really slowing down. This stuff is happening every few months. You might be caught up on this one thing. This might be the biggest thing for you this year, but this is happening every few months. And it's a real distraction, okay? So let me see. So yeah, what these events really mean and why they happen to the world. Okay, I kind of just said that. Thank you, Ozzy Ross. I appreciate you. So yeah, pretty much I just spoke on that, but just kind of piggybacking on what I just said is, I think it's a good practice. This is not about like I don't even want to say this word, but it's not about like a conspiracy situation, okay? This is just what it is. Like, you guys know that there are companies that, these there's hundreds of companies, right? And then if you go into who owns them and who owns them, it narrows itself down to only a few companies. And we're talking about these companies that also own the media. And we're talking about, if you ran the world, or if I ran the world, as in run the media, and if we know that if we put a certain thing out, it's going to cause people to react to it and to have a certain thing, like, it's kind of like a no-brainer, right? It's not even a conspiracy thing. It's just like, okay, yeah, we can see what this is. So we have to know that that's what it is. And then you also have to know that it's like, do you trust the process? Do you trust God? Like, whatever you believe in, you have to know that these things are supposed to happen. It's like slavery. It really was like, come on, if we could go back, we would take it all away. But it also is a part of our matrix here. Slavery was supposed to happen. That's just what it is. So that doesn't mean that I'm taking away from what it is. I mean, we're still suffering. We're still suffering from that. And so are other people in other countries that have been enslaved, or, whatever you want to call it, entrapped and things like that. But these are things that happen in our world. It's like wrongful murder. These are things that we don't like, we don't agree with, and they affect us, and they can hurt us. All these really, really bad things. But this is a part of our matrix. This is the world that we all agreed to come to. This is school. Earth is school. So you kind of have to tap outside of what they want you to focus on when these events are taking place, especially if you know your mission. Everybody is on a mission. But if you know your mission, you have to keep your eyes on the prize. If I didn't do this for the last 8 years, so if the first year that I decided to move here to Senegal was the first year, or around that first time when they started posting these things and showing us, our police brutality and stuff, right? That's when it first started, was when I got this idea, this download, like, okay, I have to go to Africa, right? It wasn't because of that, but it most definitely was at the same time, like in the same year, right? And then so that means that those last 8 years, that's all they did, was just push that stuff in our face and just give us more and more and more. And so if I would have gotten caught up, if I wouldn't have been able to develop this concept and, thank the universe for an elder for kind of like leading me into this mindset. But if I wouldn't have been able to do this, I would not be here in Africa doing this video cast right now. So that says a lot, right? Okay, let me read this. Your videos always come to me when I need them the most. When you talked about internalizing family members' decisions yesterday, the day before that, my dad's kids from Senegal turned up unannounced. Oh my goodness. Wow. I'm so glad to hear that these episodes resonate with you. I know this is me getting a little weird on y'all, but we are a collective. We are one, you guys. So a lot of times when I post things, they are for everyone. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. They are for everyone, and I can feel that. I can feel us experiencing the same things, and I can feel us needing that, like needing to see those things, needing to have these episodes. What you guys might not know is that I don't know what I am talking about on an episode until a few hours before an episode. And that might sound crazy to some people, but I do that because I don't want to be controlling this. I want for source, God, y'all, whatever you call it, whatever higher power that you believe in, my higher self, I want for this to be a natural thing, and I want it to be for you guys. So I don't try to manipulate it by having like a whole line of what I'm going to talk about a week ahead of time. At the same time, also, it wouldn't come off as real as it is. It wouldn't be what it ends up being, because what it ends up being is what it's supposed to be at the time that it's happening, for that day, or for those, once I get it within those few hours or whatever. And so I really like set with myself, go into a deep place and figure out what it is that needs to be talked about. So I really appreciate you for sharing that. That says a lot. That means so much. I know that there's a lot of people that will watch this episode and will hear me, that will really understand. And also, I'm really sorry to hear that. Please try not to internalize it, even though I know how hard that is, but really try and focus on time passing, especially if you're not really in the knowing. If it's something that you don't know about, like you don't really know what's going on, try not to panic in that moment. Try to stay grounded. This is the point of Earth is School. Like what I do here and what I do in my practice with my clients is teaching us how to accept what's happening and know that everything is always working out for you all the time. Oh my God. I get chills every time I say that. Because it is, everything is always working out for you all the time. And the thing is, like, when things are happening in the moment, and even for myself, like, this is why we're here with each other. We need each other. Sometimes I need my friends to calm me down and to remind me of the things that I'm telling you guys. For the most part, I'm pretty good at being on this level because I do my daily work and I really live what I'm preaching about. But at the same time, this is a human thing. Earth is School. So that's the point of each other. You might, in theory, totally understand everything I say. You might be like, oh my God, yes, I say this all the time. But that doesn't mean that in the moment, the way life will throw some daggers, the way life be throwing these surprises, and you be like wanting to dodge them like Little Kim with the with the dance, but you can't. It's real. It's real. So thank you so much for sharing that, for feeling comfortable enough for sharing that. And I just want to encourage you to stay on the vibration of ease, of everything is working out all the time. I don't know what is going on, why, how, when, try not to panic in the unknown, basically. And that's for all of you, in case you're dealing with something happening and it's just the unknown. It can be really scary. So yes, guys, these things are, we have to know what we're up against. We have to know really what's going on and why it's so important to do the mental work, do the discipline to be like, okay, my peace is more important than this. This situation that's going on. It is emotional. It's deep. It's hurting me. I don't like it. So then don't feed it to yourself. If you don't like food, unless you were a kid and your parents just made you eat it, but as an adult, if you don't like it, you're not going to force yourself to eat it. So people are online like y'all doing like data collecting for the events that are going on. You don't even have to watch that stuff. Look, I don't like to see lifeless bodies. So I'm not going to look at lifeless bodies. That's it. I don't like to see that kind of stuff. I don't like to see police mistreating us and doing us the way that they do so many of us. So I'm just not going to look at it. And it's not me ignoring it. I already know what it is. I know what it is. I get it. I don't know how much you can get, like before it becomes a thing inside of you. And the next thing you know, you're depressed or you don't feel like doing what you were going to do. And you don't even know why. You're thinking it's something totally different. And it's really because you've been consuming this stuff all day. Or just a little bit. I told you I watched one video about that and I'll probably will never, until I do the mental work on that specific video and releasing that, I will probably not ever get this video out my freaking head now. That's how deep it is. And it was just one little thing. So when I see it come up, I'm like, scroll. No, I'm not doing it because I care about my peace and I gotta stay fast on my mission. So let's see what else. Yes, I talked about the media showing gruesome details. They do that on purpose. One thing I noticed about when it came to the kids last year, the elementary kids, and they were literally showing them, I'm like, come on, you guys. This was not happening before. We got to stop having amnesia because, okay, I don't even want to get too into that, but we have to stop having amnesia about stuff. This is not normal. You got to be able to say, this is not normal. This is for a reason, and I need to focus on peace. I need to focus on ease. If the feeling doesn't make you feel at peace and at ease, then do what you got to do to breathe it out, to let it out of you. Because life is already hard enough. You already get enough surprises. So just imagine if you've been consuming yourself with that event all day, or even for some half of the day, and then you got the situation going on with your spouse or somebody that you have kids with or your family. It's like you're like a volcano waiting to erupt. That's what really ends up happening. So accepting and understanding the matrix that we're in, trusting God and trusting source, trusting God and trusting source knows, okay, right, exactly. So knowing that God and source knows what is going on. Okay. I don't like to get into what you believe in because it doesn't matter here. All that matters is that love. Okay. Love matters. That's all that matters. So as long as you ain't hurting nobody with your belief, then I don't care about that. So it's just about whatever your belief system is. If you believe that that entity that you believe in is always on time, knows what's going on, or those entities knows what's going on, maybe you believe in your higher self only, whatever it is, then you got to know that this is what it is. Like there's no thing of like, it's a illusion for you to be caught up on it to the point where you're letting it affect your world. It's literally like Neo in the Matrix trying to figure out, is this real or is this real? Is this really happening or is this really happening? You kind of have to think like that because these things are matrix. Social media is its own matrix. People don't realize that social media has its own language, and when you go inside of that app, you are in a different realm. You're no longer in this particular realm. It's a different dimension. So accepting and understanding that source knows what to do, trusting God, I mentioned that before. Be aware that it's going to be happening there as well. So if you are American, this is really what I want to close with. If you are American, and okay, let me see how I'm gonna say this because cha-cha. There are a lot of things that I feel like I'm an American, so I can speak on this, okay, as an American. We are consumed with so many things that we should not be consumed with because we should be preparing for things that are happening. That's the best way I can say it. We are really consumed with what's going on in this country and in that place, what's going on over here and over there. And I know, like, America is one of these countries that we just make you feel like nothing like this could ever happen. Like, you wouldn't even think that it could be like, again, I'm not using certain words, but it's already happened in Black neighborhoods, literally from the sky. Okay. So if it's already happened just in, like, I seen a chart not too long ago, and it was like 10 different times of this happening in Black neighborhoods specifically. You have to be able to see where there is a chance of it happening in that country and it being really shocking and really shaky and really crazy for us, because it is. And I've been talking about this for 10 years. There's prophecy from left and right, and then forget prophecy. Some of you guys don't care about prophecy. I love you the same. If you don't care about listening or watching to what our ancestors and other people have said and all these other things, even Sylvia Brown, that talked about what happened for those 2 years and how it's going to come back and it's going to be bigger than ever. You know, she made this book 20 years ago and literally had the name that we call it today that I cannot speak on, okay? Literally said the name. So maybe you don't believe in that. Maybe that's just too much for you and it's just too far-fetched. But you can also see with your eyes. If you just look at things, then you can see. And so this episode is like it's like me encouraging you guys to keep your eyes on the prize, especially if you are in certain countries. And then also for the ones who are from where I'm from, this is definitely your wake-up call. I'm definitely saying without saying what I'm saying. And I'm saying that you want to be prepared. You want to be in a different place, mentally, financially, physically, unless you're already like where you are safe and comfortable. And if what just happened recently will happen again and you're going to be good, unless you're already there, then kudos. Like, leave a comment and let us know how you got there. Okay. But if not, you have to start taking this thing serious. What they're putting on social media is a distraction. And it's something that has to happen in the world. It is a part of our world. It's a part of our world. It's not going to stop. I'm not going to say it's not going to change, because change has happened throughout these tragic events. Chaos creates order. So that's another reason why these things are divinely taking place, and they always have. These things are not new. It just feels new because it's on social media. And because the ones who are saying, this is what we're going to play today, this is what we're going to put on there today, they're doing that over and over again. Ozzy Ross says the Bible tells us that. Yes. So does the Quran. And I guarantee you, like 50 other spiritual and religious texts, most definitely, without doubt. If we want to be specific on the Bible, Paul in the Bible, if you just read Paul, if you just read what he talked about when he was in jail and talk about how he talked about escaping from these times. It's not a time that happened in history. You can go through the details, and if you're like a history buff like me, like I like to research things and I like to know like what is the time frame that this happened. If I'm reading a religious text, I want to know like what were these years, what was taking place within these years. And what Paul talked about, it ain't happened yet, but you most definitely in these last 10 or so years, even maybe 15, you can see a lot of the things that he talked about taking place. And we get really caught up on time. Like, humans, we get so caught up on time. Time is a human design thing. That's why divine timing exists. The timing of what's always on time. And we created time. That's why in Ethiopia, they're in like 2010 or something. I forgot what year they're in, but they ain't even in the same year, okay? That's why it's 10:50 over here and it's 7:50 and whatever other times over there. Because time is not really what we think it is. But if you pay attention to time and the timeline, then you can see how much these things have already taken place and you are really getting caught up. That's what the message is. Don't get caught up. Don't get caught up in the 3D and the events that are taking place. You can still acknowledge them. You can still pray for those people. And when I say pray, I ain't talking about that old Christian, oh, I pray for you, and then you're not even thinking about the person. I don't mean that. I used to hate that. Even if I hear it today, I'm like, okay, whatever. If I say that if I say, I'm going to be putting out or sending out healing energy to you, I'm going to be praying for you, I'm really going to do that. Like, I'm going to be like, okay, what's this person's name? Okay, I might even make a note. I'm really going to do that, even if I do it in that moment. So you can still do those things, but keep your eyes on the prize. You have a serious mission that you have to fulfill, and you cannot let media and what is already going to happen, whether you were here or not, whether you're gone tomorrow, these things are going to take place anyway. Like, your single person self is not going to change this. But what you do every single day, the way you wake up and go to sleep, what you're consuming every day is what will make the world of a difference in your world. Things on social media getting your energy. Let's talk about it. I'm going to do a whole episode on this. I most definitely have talked about this so many times. I have some stories for you guys, okay? Let me make a note. I have to do an episode on that, because I can break this stuff down. I can write a book on this, okay? Yes. Seriously. I'll never forget posting about it one day. It's like a periodic thing. Y'all know I've been like challenging people to do social media breaks since like 2011. Like, I would be like, hey y'all, anyone who wants to take a 2-week break, a month break, get on this app and then come off of social media with me. I've been doing this for a very long time. Like, when I only had one child, I was doing it. That was a long time ago. And this was before I even knew. Like what social media was going to be. I mean, I knew, but I just didn't know that I knew. And I was posting about this last year, or it might have been the beginning of this year, and I was going through my stories and I was making like a whole thing about what social media does and how it affects us in different ways, just proving of what this does to us. And then I went off of there, like I was done with my whole little piece that I said. And then I think was it Kodak? I don't know who it was. It was a rapper though. It was one of these new rappers, like Lil Baby or somebody. And he was like, he had did a video in his story. I'm talking about right after. It was so divine. Like, I got done with that, got off of my story, and I scrolled and I seen his video. And he was like, man, it was like, I ain't gonna lie, like, I don't really know how to explain this. But he was like, I feel like when I be scrolling through here, I be feeling some kind of way. Like, I could be happy, and then all of a sudden I'll start feeling like depressed or like angry or like sad. And it was just so on point with the whole, like, I probably had shared like 6 slides about this subject. So then I took a screen recording and then shared what he had said, and it was just so divine. And what he said is so real, because, and I'm gonna do a whole episode on this, so I'll make sure I won't forget this and I'll break it down more. But it makes sense, because if you think about it, social media it's brought so many amazing things to us. I have so many connections. Me doing this for you guys right here is such an amazing thing, right? We have business connections. This is how I make my income, through social media. So it is amazing. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, it's also something that is just like a lot of things that we are not supposed to overconsume. So our brains, this is my neuroscience self, okay? Our brains are not supposed to be overstimulated the way that it is. Like, you're not supposed to be able to, at the tips of your fingers, go to China and then India and then see a fight and then see inspiration and then see a death and then see, like, the reason why we weren't born with social media is because your brain, it doesn't, like, you're like, it's like a computer overload. Your brain is a data collector. And so what he was describing was data overload, because we're really not supposed to be stimulated like this. And there's actually now, thankfully, there's people that are writing books on this. There's articles that you can find about what happens whenever we get a notification, how our dopamine is released, like that creates the addiction. Like it gets so deep. Okay, I'm gonna do the episode, but it is really a thing, you guys. I really encourage you, take your power back. Take your power back, okay? Take control of social media. Okay, don't let it control you. And this is coming from someone that has to use social media. This is my lifestyle, right? This is a huge part of it, at least. Have you heard about that theory that social media triggers something in your brain to scroll? I can't even remember how many times I got an Instagram and forgot why I got on there in the first place. Yes, that is exactly what I'm talking about. Yes, I have read multiple articles about this, about these different studies and what happens whenever we get a notification. It is scary. It's really scary, y'all. It's something that, like, if I had to choose, let's just do away with it. If I had to choose, let's just go back. Take me back to the early 2000s. Okay, we can just stick to text messaging, and even Black Planet, it wasn't that bad, you know. Before MySpace, right before MySpace, like right before that. So yes, you guys, this was the message: to keep your eyes on the prize. Do not let what is going on in the world distract you. Still, share your condolences and your love, but remember what is going on. Trust the process of this world. Trust your process. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Please thumbs up if you guys appreciated this episode. If you guys enjoyed this, thumbs up now. Please, please, please. I forgot to say that. Thumbs up and share, okay? You can share this. It doesn't matter if only one person sees it. I guarantee you, if you're sharing it on Facebook, even if you're messaging it to somebody, I guarantee you that the majority of the world needed this message. Seriously, this message was this episode was about the world, getting caught up in worldly things. I guarantee you, the majority of us needed to hear this. So if you share this, you will be doing a part of what I am doing and supporting me and helping people understand that Earth is school, helping us live a life of more ease, more even flow, because life is already so challenging. So why not make it easier for yourself? Why not do the daily mental work so you can remember that Earth is school, right? So please thumbs up, share, hit the super thanks, all that. Thank you so much. Thank you, Smiley Coast. I appreciate that. Love the love. If you guys want to hit the super thanks, you will be supporting me and my channel. Your girl need a mic, all that good stuff. Do y'all like my background? Isn't it amazing? With my guitar and stuff. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Until tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget that Earth is school. Peace out. This is a good song for me to leave on, right? Good vibes. Thank you, guys.